All right, we're going to get going. So thanks everyone for joining us today. We respect your time, understand the calendars are extremely busy. So thank you so much for joining us, and for those who are going to listen to this via recording as well. Today's discussion is centered around the additional efficiencies and enhancements available to CPQ Plus customers. So let's take a quick walk through our agenda today. Today I'm joined by Kaylee Blair. Kaylee Blair is a lead solution consultant here at NeoCall. Kaylee has been in the quote-to-cash ecosystem for the better part of a decade and spends her time helping customers, both current and prospective customers to NeoCall, understand the power and the potential of Salesforce for their business. She's worked alongside hundreds of customers at this point in this capacity and brings a wealth of know-how to the conversation. I'm actually also joined by Peter Warren, sales director at NeoCall, who's also been in the quote-to-cash ecosystem for the better part of a decade as well. Peter spent time at Steelbrick. He's also spent time at Salesforce on the Revenue Cloud team, helping customers understand how to best align their challenges to the Revenue Cloud solution. Peter will be here to moderate and also make sure we stay in line. And for myself, I'm David Holstein, Chief Revenue Officer and partner at NeoCall. I've spent my entire career advising C-level executives at high-growth companies on how to scale effectively, with the last decade being in the Salesforce ecosystem. During today's discussion, we'll do a quick introduction of NeoCall and spend the majority of our time on the few CPQ Plus enhancements that, if leveraged, will help your organization profitably scale. If we've got time toward the end, we'll take on a few additional questions. But don't worry, if there are questions and we don't have time, we will do our best to get answers to you in some form or fashion. Now, let's jump on over to NeoCall really quickly to understand why NeoCall's in the room. About 5.5 years ago, I joined NeoCall along with the CEO and founder, and we pivoted our go-to-market strategy directly into the quote-to-cash ecosystem on the Salesforce platform. We saw a need in the market to create a firm that combined global workforce alongside boutique experience to bring success across the quote-to-cash projects in this ecosystem at scale. Since then, we've climbed our way to the top of the Salesforce Consulting Partner Ranks Earnings Summit, as well as becoming a Salesforce Ventures-backed company. We become the first Revenue Cloud Master Navigator, maintain an industry-leading customer satisfaction score in the quote-to-cash projects, and we've become a certified Great Place to Work 2 times in Inc. 5000 company. Now, I say all of these things with a lot of pride, knowing that this is really the voice of our customers and our employees that have helped us get those accolades, but it also confirms our purpose, discipline, and dedication specifically to the quote-to-cash space. So let's actually jump into our perspective at a business level regarding the challenge and the potential benefits before we actually get into the meat and potatoes of today's discussion, walking through some of those enhancements. So why are we here today? There's probably a few different scenarios as to why you're in the room. Maybe you're here as an admin, a Salesforce owner, or someone who is going to be tasked with accomplishing more with less in the coming year. Maybe you're here on behalf of the business, trying to figure out how to become more efficient in FY24. Maybe you're here because you're considering a CPQ Plus upgrade and you'd like to know a little bit more perspective on the new features and what they can mean to your business. Nonetheless, the idea of doing more with less is more prevalent than ever before, and this is our new normal. Organizations are now trying to focus on sound business fundamentals like cash flow and profitability, but also drive growth and reduce churn. And it's got these organizations, whether you're at the top level, at the C level, or people actually working the systems, seeking more from their technologies. Common questions being asked heading into budgeting and FY24 planning is, how do we get the most out of what we have today? Is there more we can do with what we currently have that we aren't thinking about or we don't know about quite yet? Where we are getting pressure from the C-suite to drive greater results without the additional headcount, how do we get that done? So let's take a look at CPQ Plus and a few of the features we're going to talk about today that are specifically going to address what I just mentioned. We believe that recent CPQ Plus enhancements are going to further set your business up for success and effectively combat the do more with less challenge. The additional features we're going to discuss and share more about today are going to include Slack advanced approvals, partner communities and channel sales quoting integrated together, Omni Studio output documentation on the Salesforce platform, usage schedules, and advanced order management. Companies who are taking advantage of these enhancements are unlocking things like increased profitability and a decreased cost of sale. They're improving their customer experience as well as their employee experience and reducing churn across the board because the job is is becoming easier to get done. And lastly, they're increasing efficiency and revenue per person. And now that we have the why we are here, let's actually dive into the content. I'm going to hand it over to Kaylee to guide us. Go ahead, Kaylee.
Thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Really excited to start off with advanced approvals. David mentioned this one, of course. When you move into CPQ Plus, you get the option of that advanced approvals package. You may be on CPQ today, you may be utilizing standard approvals, you may not, but one of the biggest differentiators when we think about advanced approvals is getting back to efficiency. Parallel approvals, running approvals in line with each other, as well as removing the duplicative approvals. So maybe I, as an approver, have 2 or 3 different types of approvals that I'm involved in. In your standard approvals, I'm getting multiple emails, multiple pings from the system, trying to manage all of that, and it's just taking a lot more of my time. When you move into advanced approvals, Smart Approvals allows you to see everything that you're going to be approving in one fell swoop. Now, the additional benefit and one of the really exciting things that we've seen come into play recently is the addition of Slack into the Salesforce solution. Slack is not only giving you access to your approvals in the same easy access, efficient way that you have in a system, maybe via email, but now you can access them mobilely. You can use them on your laptop. You can get interaction with it more frequently. And I'll pass it back to David briefly for a real life example that he sees as one of our main approvers.
Yeah, thanks for that. So, the efficiency gains and the ability to get approved quotes out the door quicker cannot be understated in the environment that we're in. I feel it, and a lot of our customers feel the exact same thing. I spend a majority of my time speaking with a couple different levels of sales leadership, or at least a couple different levels of folks who belong in the approvals process regarding their quoting and approvals. Today, many of those people receive requests for approval in a lot of different mediums. They receive text messages from sales reps and managers, emails, Salesforce notifications on the opportunity, Slack messages requesting approval for quotes. The challenge here is that all of these mediums are looked at differently by different people. For myself, inside of our organization, I don't work out of email. I don't work out of text. I don't work out of Salesforce notifications. I catch up on them. And there's a big difference. There's hours of gap. However, I work consistently in Slack. It's how I fluidly communicate with my team, my direct team, but also across the business. So an enhancement like this for someone like myself, who's part of the approvals process, who doesn't keep up with all those mediums as real time as the reps need to get quotes out the door, this enhancement is going to give someone like me the opportunity to approve quicker, more seamlessly and timely, while giving me a much better experience and getting the quote in the hands of the customer a lot quicker. So the value of being able to pull this into Slack cannot be understated, as I mentioned before.
Thank you so much for that example, David. Moving on, customer and partner quoting communities. The theme of all of this is efficiencies and doing more with less. Maybe you have a channel already set up. You have a portal. Your customers or your partners are interacting with knowledge articles, cases. They can come in, maybe register deals so you can see what your partner channel is doing, but there's always that point where an indirect sales rep within your organization needs to get involved. With specifically partner quoting, what we'll focus on today, diving into how that plays in with CPQ Plus, your partners can quote directly in the system. You can see those records real time within CPQ. We get the same rules, the same logic, the same types of approvals. We are guiding them and directing them with the system and allowing them, that channel, to become revenue working for you in a low touch, no touch sales cycle. We're going to get into a demonstration of this here in just a moment. But David's heard some really key things in the space of ways that our customers are using this every day to do more with less.
Yeah, I think to sum it up, a big challenge that our customers feel and what they're trying to solve for is how to more profitably service a more transactional part of their business. So think just like product-led growth, partner-led growth is also another strategy for these organizations. to decrease that cost of sale. In the past, CPQ and partner communities were not integrated, and thus the project itself was overly custom. It created tech debt. The payback time was just simply too long to be able to think about how you put something like this together, enhance your business process, get it out the door, and effectively get working through your partners in this way. But now with this enhancement, companies for the first time are able to actually sell through their partner network. And that there's a big difference between selling through and selling with. They can sell through their partner network with low touch quoting. And this can all be set up based off of different partnership tiers, negotiated rates, so on and so forth. And this is going to decrease project scope, and it's actually going to expedite speed to value for customers as well as your partners to fuel this partner-led strategy. So I think what Kaylee's going to show a little bit more of here today is a little bit of what I'm talking about, how to sell through your partner network and not necessarily need a big, robust amount of overhead to ensure your partners are selling more with your business.
Exactly, David, exactly. So let's set the stage of what that looks like. You had the pleasure of meeting Peter Warren on our call earlier. He's going to play my proverbial role of our partner in the system. Let's assume that we have a partner ecosystem already set up. Our partners are logged in. They've gone through some onboarding, and they're able to register deals that our internal team, our internal partner channel, is able to support them on. With adding in CPQ Plus, now your partners can own that quoting process. They can self-serve. We can increase the speed to a partner quote while reducing that barrier to entry. David said it perfectly. Selling together and selling through our partner channel, as opposed to having to be lockstep with them on every single quote. It also reduces your internal support needs. You will still have partner managers, partner channel support, but with partners being able to work on their own, we're going to see that optimized. When we go through our demonstration flow, I'll log into Salesforce here in just a moment. You'll see that we already have a lead registered. We're going to convert that lead, generate our opportunity. From that opportunity, you'll see them generate a quote, add products, and win that revenue without ever needing the internal support of a team member. So let's jump right into it. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit, make sure that we've got good view there. David, can you verify for me that you can see that well?
Yep.
Perfect. So we are here in our portal, logged in as Mr. Peter Warren, and we have a lead here that has been captured within our PRM system. Now, all of these steps up to this point are things you can do without CPQ Plus. Now, let's see the power of what you get once you get CPQ Plus tied in with PRM. So we'll go ahead and convert this, generate a new account, new opportunity. If you're familiar with Sales Cloud, this process is very familiar to you. All right, we'll go to our opportunity. Now, I'm still here as Peter Warren. I'm interacting with a system that looks very similar to what you see as an internal user. Let's go ahead and create a new quote. With generating our quote and adding our product lines, again, they don't need anybody accessing from the internal team at this point. We can build in guardrails, price books, all sorts of different technical lines in the sand to support what our partners can see, can sell, what type of approvals they might bump into. Because even though we want them to be able to be efficient and self-serve, we still need to guardrail what our partners are selling and making sure that they're hitting the margin marks or the cost plus margin that we are expecting of them as a business. So we can go through, we can add a product, and you'll see when we get into bundle configuration that still the logic is the same as what you experience as an internal user. Maybe we can't add a product without adding a different one. We have specific quantity modifications, etc. Let's go ahead and save. And when we get into our quote line editor, I'm going to see if as a partner, I can give a discount, just see what happens. Maybe we want to give away a product, see if the system will let us. Nope. I'm going to have to get triggered to an approval. But as a channel partner, I want this to be smooth. I want it to be fast. I want it to be quick. We're going to remove that discount and just move forward with the quote as is in the pricing that we as our partner have been set up with. So we'll save that for now. And at this point, like I said, very streamlined, very smooth. All of these records are generating directly into your internal Salesforce CPQ. I can log into that system. I can see these records. Let's go back to our opportunity and assume that this is the quickest deal cycle that we have ever seen. And we'll close win this, pass it into the system like brand new revenue. Just like that, we have partner self-serve, partner capable quoting, and it's running directly into your CPQ system. All right. Next exciting thing that we've got on the docket, Omni Studio. So Omni Studio is one of the newest, most exciting features that we see with CPQ. And really, it's got a lot of different options that can be done using Omni Studio. It's got a lot of different capabilities. We're going to focus on the quote output documents and generating documents for you. If you've ever used the standard output document generator in Salesforce, you know that it does what it needs to, but it has some lacking points. So with Omni Studio, you can generate Word docs, PowerPoints, robust branding, and it's all going to route more logically through the system with ease of merge fields, ease of negotiation, and really using all of that trust and security on the platform that we have come to expect from Salesforce. David, any comments here before I move on to our next feature?
Yeah, I think a perspective to put on this in a few different ways as a seller, but also a customer. Look, as a seller, and early in my career, there was nothing more frustrating than having to leverage Microsoft Word or Google Docs, downloading that to PDF, uploading that to DocuSign or whatever your e-sign tool is, sending that documentation upon completion, maybe even having to download then upload back into the opportunity. It's a very cumbersome process when you feel like you've taken the buyer down this journey and you finally get them to a point where they're ready to purchase and help you grow your business, to then have a lot of different friction points at the final, what feels like 2-yard line. Not only from a seller's perspective, but from a customer's perspective, it's just too much friction, and as a customer, it simply slows the process of being able to get access to the products and services that you've just bought into. So it's going to eliminate internal and external experience challenges with the doc generation process, as well as expediting the closing mechanics of the cycle by doing it all on one platform, eliminating multiple touch points and potentially even systems along the way. So this is not just a value add from a quantitative perspective, how fast it is to actually close some business and get that through the door and the customer happy and working with your products and services. But the qualitative side of this, from an experience perspective, is going to help your sales reps as well as your customers feel better along that part of the journey as well.
Absolutely. This is one that I'm personally incredibly excited about. I've seen, firsthand already ways that our customers are using these benefits, gaining those efficiencies. It's a really polished solution. It's very exciting. All right, let's move on to consumption. Now, CPQ right now easily covers your subscriptions, your one-times, all of those things. We've been in the ecosystem long enough to see the transition from one-time to SaaS, and our customers wanting to move more into that subscription space. We're on the cusp of another change. Our customers are asking for signing up for what I need at this point in time, maybe not lengthy subscriptions. This is where consumption really comes into play. The addition of the consumption schedules inside of Salesforce CPQ Plus gives you purpose-built tiering solutions to support overage, minimum commits, maximums, all of these different things negotiated specifically for this type of product. And so that our customers can purchase what they need when they need it. And it's easier to grow the revenue when usage increases or modifies. And we're not locking them directly into just a subscription plan. Excuse me. This also allows your consumption model to flow end to end. A lot of what you may do in CPQ standard is we can sell it as a subscription, but maybe then we have to bring in flat usage in the background, maybe for billing or invoicing. Now we're in one complete system end to end through quoting it, ordering it, documenting your usage, and passing it into whatever your billing system is. David, any additional comments or thoughts in that perspective?
Yeah, I think as you kind of mentioned, subscriptions are great. It's a wonderful model. But I think we're seeing, as you mentioned, customer expectations are changing and how they want to buy, how they want to work with organizations, and the seamlessness of doing so. Companies want to be able to evolve at the right time to meet their customers where they want to be met. The modern customer doesn't want to always have to sign up for a lengthy subscription. So usage-based pricing makes it easier and even less risky for them to try a service and grow with the service. Organizations, of course, love usage-based pricing because it makes it easier to grow revenue when usage increases. So if and when your organization is ready for that strategy, the Salesforce platform with this particular enhancement is ready to enable your go-to-market with this enhancement. So it's, again, a big value add to organizations who are ready to take that step into usage-based pricing and grow their company.
Exactly. Wonderful. The last and really key feature that we want to talk about today is advanced order management. If you're interacting with your Salesforce ecosystem today, you may have seen the order object. Maybe you use it, maybe you don't. But with the addition of CPQ Plus, we get the advanced order management components. This is really taking that order and bringing it into the hub of all of your transactional data, the hinge to all of your downstream processes. Areas you may feel this kind of pain today is, maybe your order management process is highly manual. Maybe you have a lot of clicks to look at the quote, look at a contract document, look at a purchase order, make sure they all match before you try and pass it down to your finance team, where they're doing more and more to make sure everything's in alignment. The order really brings all of that information together and allows for a hinge and a hub to then pass to maybe a provisioning system, maybe a billing system, but you're getting all of your data in one place. The extra benefits that come with advanced order management. We can do order splits. So I have a quote that comes in, maybe I'm selling an implementation product, something that's going to take a little bit more time, but also a subscription license, something that I can turn on for them right away. If we split that quote into 2 orders, we can see, okay, let's pass our subscription product, our software license downstream. Our customer can start using it. We can provision it. It's going through. The implementation is not holding up the rest of that quote for processing. And as soon as our implementation is complete, we provision that as well and pass it downstream. Your order splits do not necessarily mean you have split invoices. Whether you are considering Salesforce billing or some other tool, you can then rationalize these back together into unified invoicing, keeping a better customer experience all around, and giving your order management, your ops teams, your finance teams some more breathing room and being able to use your human capital to the best of their ability. David, anything here as well? Or
No,
definitely move on.
Yeah, that's great.
Perfect. At that point, Peter, maybe I'll pass you, see if we have any questions from the team or from the participants.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you guys. That was awesome content. I answered a number of these through chat, so if I didn't answer it holistically, if you have any remaining questions, let me know. We're happy to talk about it now or as a follow-up. One of the questions that I'm consistently seeing, I'll kind of summarize, advanced approvals is awesome. Is it possible to use that functionality outside of the quoting process?
Yeah, short answer is yes, absolutely. One of the key use cases that we see is use in maybe cases in engagement or legal components, maybe if you're running an MSA off of an account or something like that. But absolutely lots of opportunities for use there, and all of those, again, tied directly into Slack.
Awesome. Thank you, Kaylee. The next question I'm seeing is, would it be possible to use Omni Studio to create a guided selling flow for partners to quote in a partner portal?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a really, really good question. What we can see with Omni Studio and the power that it provides really gives you all of those use cases to directly interact with your partners. So that, again, low touch, no touch channel revenue with that information coming directly through the system, and we can create those tailored use cases for them.
Awesome. I'm seeing a few that probably make sense as a follow-up question, a little bit more in depth, but I have one more that I think would be helpful for the group. We recently acquired a new company, and we want to use their products to sell into our white space, but need accounting to be separate because they're still separate companies. Can we use advanced order management to separate out one quote or one opportunity to separate ERPs for accounting?
Absolutely. This is something that we run into all of the time. And it's a big use case that our customers are trying to solve for. We're trying to merge businesses. We're trying to come together, but how do we keep business operating as expected? So advanced order management absolutely can allow you to split or unify orders depending on how you want to quote upstream. So let's say company one buys company two. We're quoting them together. We're getting that ROI on our M&A process, but we still need to split our orders, and maybe we have different downstream systems. Absolutely. Big key call out here is obviously understanding what your interim and your integration strategies are for how to pass those into their specific downstream systems, but all things that we can get into more detail with you about. If that was your question, feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to have another session with you.
Thank you, Kaylee. I think that's it for now. Like Kaylee mentioned, if there's any questions that we didn't fully answer or I didn't fully answer in chat, feel free to reach out, and we're happy to elaborate and have a conversation on it.
Cool. All right. So as we leave here today, I think the goal of this was to give you a few things to think about, a few ways in which you can get more out of CPQ or CPQ Plus, or help make the case for your upgrade from CPQ to CPQ Plus. The features discussed today are going to help scale your business more profitably through accomplishing more with less. Again, that big talk track everyone's talking about, right? So today was really meant to be a flyover of those new enhancements that we talked about. And if any of these features map back to business challenges you're interested in knowing more about or you're looking to solve, please get in touch for a deeper dive. This is meant to stimulate a conversation for a deeper dive into any one of these discussion points. If you don't know who to reach out to at NeoCall to get that deeper perspective, please feel free to reach out to me directly, and I'll get you plugged into the right person at NeoCall to walk through any one of these things or all of these things should you have a greater interest. So we'll wrap up early, give everyone half hour back. Have a great day and a remainder of the calendar year. Thank you.
Thank you so much, all.